guys, it's Ilana and welcome back to my channel. By the time you see this video, I will be in a new apartment because that's right, I am going apartment hunting in San Francisco during a global pandemic. So some tours were virtual, some tours were done in person. So I'm excited to show you 6 different apartments, and I did pick one out of these 6 apartments, and by the time this video is up, I will be in it. So I am so excited to share all the spots that I toured. If you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. I post content about what it's like to navigate life and dating in San Francisco. So you're thinking about moving to San Francisco, you live in San Francisco, you're single, navigating, dating in the Bay Area, wherever the case may be with you, go ahead and subscribe down below because I think you'll really like it here. Okay, let's go ahead and look at some apartments. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share all the apartments and I will reveal the neighborhoods at the end so you can take a guess on which apartment I chose. So I want you to comment down below and make a guess on which apartment I chose before you finish watching. Let's talk about the first apartment that I saw. So this apartment was $11.95. It was very beautiful and I absolutely loved the living room and that it had a bay window and the kitchen. Oh my god, the kitchen was so beautiful. I've never seen such a nice kitchen in my life and I was so drawn to it. Another thing I liked about this apartment is that it had free in-unit laundry. I am so over coin-operated laundry, so having free laundry inside the apartment was such a plus. Now for the room. The thing about the room is that it was a nice size, but it was more of a converted office. It had glass doors, it didn't have a closet, but it had a wardrobe, and it didn't really get a lot of natural light, which is something that's really big for me because I am a content creator and I don't really have natural light in this room. So I know for me that natural light is a must-have, and that's something that I really need. So I was really iffy about the room, but the rest of the apartment was so beautiful. The apartment even had a hot tub, a garden in the back, and a huge garage. I thought this apartment was so awesome, and it was definitely at a very good price point in a really good neighborhood, also pet friendly, and I really felt like this was something that I could really work with this room. So I was very interested in it. Let's go on to the second apartment that I saw. So apartment number 2, in an amazing spot, but a little bit more expensive than the first one. So this apartment was $13.50. So I did a video call for this apartment and I absolutely loved the bedroom. It had a bay window, it had plenty of natural light, I believe it had a street view, it had 2 closets, and it just had enough space. It did have coin laundry, but it was pretty cheap. It allowed cats, it had a nice kitchen, a really nice living room, and it was only a 2-bedroom, so I would be living with one other person, which would be really nice to just live with one other person and not share so much space with a huge household. So that was something that I really liked about this place, especially with the fact that it's in a great neighborhood that I love and it had a bay window. That really excited me a ton. Even though this apartment was much higher than the first apartment I saw, this became number 1 on my list. I wanted this spot so badly, but I still have a couple other places that we need to talk about. So let's go to apartment number 3. So apartment number 3 was really nice. It had its own kind of complex setup. It had a gym, it had a pool, it had a laundry room, it had parking if you had a car, and this apartment was $12.25. So technically this was a 2-bedroom apartment, but the 3rd room was converted into a room, but it didn't have an actual closet, which is one thing I didn't really like about this, but they said that it was being renovated and that it would have a closet by the time it was finished being renovated. It had natural light, it was plenty big for all of my furniture, and it was just a really spacious apartment. There was a living room and a dining room, there was so much room, lots of natural light, and the kitchen was so beautiful. It had a little wine rack, it had pretty updated appliances. It was just a really good spot. I thought for $12.25 in this neighborhood for this kind of apartment was a steal. I was really interested in this apartment and it kind of slowly moved up to the top of my list. I really saw myself living here and thought that I'd be really happy in this kind of place. That's apartment number 3. Let's go to apartment number 4. So apartment number 4 is actually an apartment that is really close by to where I am staying now. I looked at a bedrooms and 6 bathrooms. And it was completely empty. So what was really interesting about this house is that it was paid per room and not per whole unit. So nobody was living in there. It was a completely empty house, and there were 6 rooms available for rent. And they were willing to negotiate if you couldn't meet their rent standards. And what was great is that I was able to negotiate an $1,800 bedroom down to $1,375. I liked this room because it had a lot of natural light and it had its own private bathroom, which I really liked. Of course, everyone got their own private bathroom, which was one really cool thing about this house. The house also had free laundry, which is something that I really liked. And it had a big living room with a lot of natural light, and it allowed cats. The one thing that I really didn't like about this house is that it had a really ugly kitchen. And I'm kind of a snob. My last apartment, the apartment that I lived in the Sunset, was really ugly. It had a really ugly kitchen. I didn't want to have another ugly kitchen again, so I was really iffy about that. But I thought, you know, for this price point, it's not horrible, but it is kind of high. And I would also have to pay a last month's rent, which would jack the price even more, and I'd have to fork over like $4,000, which is just too much money. Ilana, you could take this place, have your own private bathroom, and a bunch of other things that you could do with the apartment because nobody is living here, and you could have a whole 6-bedroom house to yourself. So it was something to think about. So that's apartment number 4. Let's go to apartment number 5. So apartment number 5 is in a great neighborhood. It costs $1,200. So I thought I was going to be doing a virtual tour for this spot, but it really ended up being an interview with the current person who is trying to fill the spot. So with the room, I'll show some pictures here. It had a beautiful room. It had a bay window. It had free laundry. It had a nice kitchen. I wasn't too thrilled about the living room and how it was decorated, but it seemed like it was still a nice spot overall. It was pet friendly. I really liked it in general just because, again, I really wanted a bay window and natural light, so I was really drawn to this room. And I told the guy that I really loved the room. I just had one other place that I had to see, and I would let him know. But the thing is, when I talked to this guy, actually wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. That was the 5th apartment. Let's go on to the last apartment that I saw, and then I will kind of debrief on what I didn't take and then what I took. So the 6th and last apartment that I saw, it was 1286. So this apartment also had a bay window. It had a ton of natural light. It looked like it could fit all of my furniture. It had a huge mirror closet with gold frames. It was really pretty. I also really liked how the living room had a ton of natural light and a bay window in itself. And I really liked how it was decorated, and I knew that there could also be room to decorate it even more. The kitchen was really nice. Some appliances, I will say the fridge could probably get updated, but for the most part, they had everything that I could possibly need to cook. And the roommate seemed really chill, and I'd only be sharing my bathroom with one other person, so that was a plus. The only thing that I didn't really like about this apartment is that it does have coin-operated laundry, $2 for each machine, which I thought was a little bit expensive, but still cheaper than my Sunset apartment where I was basically paying $6 for a whole load, which was absolutely ridiculous. But I will say the room was stunning. It had a ton of space. I loved all the natural light, and it was in a really good location. So that was the last apartment that I saw. Now let's talk about why I didn't take certain apartments and why I took the apartment that I did. So remember the first apartment that I did a FaceTime call with that had the bay window that was $1,350? So I loved this apartment so much. I really wanted it, and I told the girl, I will take it. I could literally give you the deposit tomorrow. I wanted it. And she said, yeah, totally, this sounds great. This seems like it could be a really good fit. So she gets back to me the next day and she says she wants to set up a call with her roommate, and I said, sure, not a problem. I'm free this day and this day, let's chat. She never gets back to me, so I followed up with her and she basically ghosted me. So that was really discouraging because I really loved that apartment so much. And I just wish she could have said to me, hey, unfortunately we found somebody else that was a better fit for the room, sorry. I didn't really appreciate that she couldn't even have the decency to tell me that. Instead, she just ghosted me. So that was really uncool, so I did not get that space. And by the way, that apartment was located in Haight-Ashbury. I used to live in Haight-Ashbury. I thought this could be the perfect time to move back to such a great neighborhood because I loved living there, and I was so sad that I lost my spot there originally. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out like I wanted to. Let's go back to the first apartment that I saw. This apartment was located in the Mission, the one that was $11.95. So I really liked the spot, and I even told the landlord I will take it. And he said, great, let me talk to the guys that live there, see what they think, and I'll get back to you on Monday. Monday came and went. He didn't get back to me. I followed up with him, and no response. You could have just said, hey, sorry, we found somebody to fill the room. Thanks for being an unprofessional asshole. So I did not get that spot, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of glad I didn't get it because I don't think I would have wanted to live in a converted office with glass doors, even though I could have totally blocked it off, made it soundproof. I could have done so many awesome things with that room. It didn't have a lot of natural lighting, and those green walls definitely did not do it for me, even though I was told I could paint them white. But still, you know, at the end of the day, I guess it's best that I did not get that spot, even though it was the cheapest room that I saw. So let's go to the other house with the bay window. So this was, I believe, the fourth apartment that I saw. After I had a chat with the guy, something felt really off. I felt like this guy didn't really seem very interested in me. It seemed more of an interview, just getting to know me type thing, which I get, but I really wanted to see a video tour of the place, which he didn't do. I kind of did everything based off the pictures, but I really liked this space. I loved that it had a bay window. It was located in Cole Valley, which is right by the Haight. It's a cute neighborhood. I would have killed to live in Cole Valley. Something felt really off about the person that I spoke with, and it really ruined the whole entire apartment for me and made me wonder, would I actually be happy living with this person and his roommates? I decided to not move forward with it just because it didn't seem like a good fit, which was really disappointing because the room was beautiful. So now it's between the 5th and 6th apartment. So let's talk about the 5th apartment really quick. So with the 5th apartment, this girl had reached out to me on Facebook saying that she had a room available, her and her friend, and they had rented out the space already and they were just looking for one other person. So the guy decided to meet up with me in person. I got to see it for myself and see the space, and there was just definitely not a click between me and the guy and me and the girl. I felt that the personalities were off, but I would still be happy living in this space because it was so nice. And I think after time, I was getting really desperate and I really needed a place to live, and I wanted a nice place to live in there too. I really liked that this apartment had a free gym, it had a really nice kitchen, it had inexpensive laundry, it was pet friendly, and it was in Potrero Hill. Potrero Hill is not a bad neighborhood. There's a lot of things surrounding it, and it's really close to the Latina side of the Mission, which is one of my favorite parts of town. I really liked this spot, and I told them that I'd be more than happy to give them my deposit tomorrow, and they said that they would have an update for me. And then if we go back to the last apartment, I really liked this spot a lot. I didn't like that I was told that I had to put down a last month's rent for this apartment as well because that was so much money to fork over. But I was told that I was able to pay that in half, and it was something that I was willing to work with. I felt like I clicked really well with the roommates, and I was very, very excited to move forward with it, and I told them I can give you my deposit tomorrow. Is there any next steps? Basically, I was told that I just needed to get my credit checked, and I just had to send proof of my ID, just stuff like that, and it could be mine. And the girl said she'd get back to me later that night. So while I'm waiting for her response, people from the Potrero Hill apartment told me that they decided to go with somebody else for the apartment. And that was really discouraging because I really needed a place to live. My friend needs her room back by October 20th, so I was freaking out and feeling really stressed out, really hoping that this last apartment wouldn't fall through on me. As promised, the girl got back to me and she said, hey, the apartment is yours. You can give us your deposit tonight and just send me your credit score in the morning, so I sent all of that. I'm proud to say that I got the 6th apartment. I will keep the name of that neighborhood a secret just for my own safety. But it's in a really great neighborhood, a neighborhood that I've never lived in before, and I'm very, very excited about living there. I'm really excited about the street view and how it's really inexpensive. Okay, well, it's still expensive, but it's a great price for rent in the Bay Area. I feel really fortunate that I got this perfect space with this beautiful bay window with all of this natural light, and there's so much that I get to do with this space and make it my own home, and I am so excited to have that again. Tell me, which apartment did you think I chose? I'd love to know your thoughts. Also, I have 2 videos on how you can move to San Francisco if you're planning on moving, along with how to find an apartment in San Francisco. You can check them out right over here. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you thought it was entertaining, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!